at the Joseph Chevrolet, shots fired, 8733 Colerain Avenue. Hit your acknowledge if you're en route, 8733 Colerain.
Colerain Township Police, make yourself known!
Welcome back to Advocacy, Alchemy with Professor Ross. Today we have a good one, guys. This is an important case that we're going to discuss. We're breaking down a shocking incident that took place in a place called Colerain Township, Ohio. This happened at a Chevrolet dealership where a workplace dispute led to gunfire. This case is a powerful reminder of how personal frustrations and workplace conflict should never escalate to violence. We'll explore the legal consequences, the impact on the employees, and the broader societal implications. Actions like this come with serious legal penalties and lifelong repercussions. Let's dive in.
Like a 13, turned up.
13 on 27.
I'm 13, sunlight, going traffic.
I got people out here, right here. I got people back here.
13, it was a possible employee named Rashid that shot the firearm.
13, I'm clear. We got shots fired inside. Shots fired inside.
I'm clear, shots fired inside.
Where you at, Horde?
Right behind the car.
Officer 86 in Colerain at the Joseph Chevrolet, shots fired, 8733 Colerain Avenue. Hit your acknowledge if you're en route, 8733 Colerain.
Colerain Township Police, make yourself known! Hands up!
Put your hands up now!
Hands up!
Hands up!
Hands up!
Don't move! Get on the ground! Get on the ground now!
13, one at gunpoint.
Get on the ground! Now!
Stand up!
Ground now!
I will shoot you.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Calm down, calm down. Get in the car. Anybody else?
I guess.
Anybody else outstanding?
Anybody else? Make yourself known!
You are so beautiful all over again.
Oh, stay out. Stay out.
Wow.
Hey, the gun's on the floor right there. Will somebody secure that? I'm with you.
Get out on the floor. Somebody go talk to them and see if they know anything. Abby, go talk to them. Find somebody who knows something.
Here's what happened. Officers arrived at the dealership, heard gunshots the moment they stepped onto the scene. One officer armed himself with his rifle. He entered the building and prepared for anything. The suspect quickly surrendered and he avoided any further escalation. While no one was physically injured, the psychological trauma of this type of event could have lasting consequences. Employees who were present may experience ongoing distress, and civil lawsuits could follow. In situations like this, multiple legal charges could apply, depending on the severity of the actions and the risk posed to others. One of the primary charges that this suspect is probably going to face is discharging a firearm in a public place. Under Ohio Revised Code Section 2923.162, the severity of this offense depends on whether injuries occurred. Even if no one was physically harmed, firing a gun inside a business can still result in felony charges because of the inherent danger and the disruption. Another charge that could be filed is inducing panic. This is covered under the Ohio Revised Code, Section 2917.31. When someone fires a gun in public or a business setting, it's natural that this triggers a panic. First, it's going to disrupt the workplace, and then it demands an emergency response, usually from law enforcement. This charge applies even when no harm occurs because the act itself creates significant public concern and distress. If any employees felt that their lives were in immediate danger, prosecutors may also consider aggravated menacing. This falls under the Ohio Revised Code, section 2903.21. This charge applies when a person causes another to believe that they are in imminent risk of serious harm, even if the shooter did not explicitly threaten anyone. Firing a gun inside an enclosed workspace could easily cause fear among employees and customers present. There's still more potential legal complications, like if the suspect was legally prohibited from possessing a firearm. Under Ohio Revised Code section 2923.13, a person who has prior felony convictions or specific mental health restrictions may not legally own or handle a firearm. If this suspect was under such a disability or had a prior felony record, then additional felony charges would probably apply. And with each additional felony charge, there is the potential for more punishment. Let's move beyond the criminal charges for just a moment. Civil lawsuits could arise from this type of incident. Employees who were present during the shooting may sue for intentional infliction of emotional distress. To succeed on this type of claim, the plaintiff must prove that the shooter's actions were extreme and outrageous, and that they directly caused severe emotional distress, and that such distress was foreseeable given the nature of the incident. Even if the shooter didn't intend to cause emotional distress, any affected employees may still bring this type of claim under negligent infliction of emotional distress. This applies when someone recklessly behaves in a way that leads to significant mental anguish in others, even without direct intent. Given that the shooter chose to fire a gun in a confined space while others were present, a court could find that he acted recklessly, making him liable for emotional damages. Another legal concern is employer liability. If the shooter was a current employee, the dealership could also face legal consequences. Plaintiffs may argue that the business failed to implement adequate security measures or ignored warning signs that could have prevented the shooting. Employers have a duty to maintain a safe workplace, and the failure to do so can lead to significant financial damages in civil court. To secure a conviction or win a civil lawsuit, the evidence must meet different legal standards. Let's go through the 6 key evidentiary standards and how they apply to this case. First, you have mere suspicion. This is the lowest level of proof, and it's based on a hunch or a general suspicion. It's not enough to justify an arrest or a conviction, but it might prompt law enforcement to investigate further. Moving up one more level, you have reasonable suspicion. This is a step above mere suspicion, and it's based on specific facts that would lead a reasonable officer to believe that a crime might be occurring. In this case, the sound of a gunshot inside the dealership would provide reasonable suspicion for officers to enter and further investigate. Next, you have probable cause. This is the legal threshold required for an arrest or a search or obtaining a search warrant. It means there's enough evidence to support a reasonable belief that a crime has been committed. Here, the officer hearing the gunshot and finding the suspect with a gun both establish probable cause for an arrest. Moving on, you have preponderance of the evidence. This standard is used in civil cases and requires that the plaintiff show that it's more likely than not that the defendant's actions cause harm. In an emotional distress lawsuit, employees would need to prove that their trauma resulted from the gunfire inside the dealership. Next, you have clear and convincing evidence. This is a higher standard used in some civil cases. It requires strong evidence that a claim is highly probable. That means about 75% of the evidence needs to point to the claim being true. If the dealership were sued for negligence, plaintiffs might need to demonstrate with clear and convincing evidence that the business failed to implement proper security measures. Finally, beyond a reasonable doubt. This is the highest standard of proof that applies in criminal cases. Prosecutors must prove that the suspect knowingly discharged the firearm in violation of the law and beyond any reasonable doubt. This is where body cam footage, witness testimonies, and ballistic reports will be crucial in securing a conviction. If you were a juror in this case, how would you decide what your verdict would be? Would you find the suspect guilty of a felony beyond a reasonable doubt? Or do you classify this more as just some emotional outburst with no real intent to harm anyone? The evidence suggests that, at minimum, this shooter created a dangerous and disruptive situation, even if no one was injured. However, some jurors might weigh his immediate surrender and the lack of direct threats maybe as a mitigating factor. What do you think? Should the shooter face felony conviction, or should he face some lesser charge? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Workplace violence doesn't happen in a vacuum. There are often some warning signs before incidents like this happen. Sudden aggression, threats, unhealthy obsession with weapons. Recognizing these types of red flags early can help prevent tragedies before they occur. Employers and employees must also be proactive. Conflict resolution programs, mental health support, and property security measures all make huge differences in preventing violent incidents like this. Businesses should invest in some type of active shooter training. Staff and management need to be versed on clear de-escalation policies and overall workplace safety to ensure the well-being of employees and, if you serve, customers.